All right, welcome. This is Shenanigans with Eric and Jim on the Community Game Plan.
So yeah, the big thing with us is we are huge on community. Being a part of it, spending our time in it, and just all in all supporting it. I feel like a lot of talk these days, especially in January, it's like that after the Christmas rush. When do I list? It's
absolutely.
the main thing. I think what a lot of people forget is they're just looking at numbers. They're looking at stats. They're not really focusing on where they come from or why. It's just, I live in this area, this is what I get.
Yeah.
Or people in posting season, because that's happening right now too. I have a couple people being posted, and they're like, I want to live in this community because this is what I've been told is a good community.
Right.
First thing, I'm like, is it close to anybody you know?
Yeah.
Is it close to family?
Yeah.
Like, I think community is a really big, forgotten thing to look at when you're looking to where you want to live.
Very much so. And most people look at price, but they don't look at the amenities with included in that community. And that's one thing that I've talked to a lot of people about is that, especially if it's a younger family that either the kids aren't in school yet, but they're going to be in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to be 45 minutes to an hour bus ride for your kid out away from the school?
Right. Yep.
Having those conversations, and then the amenities that are needed, learning about the family, their likes, their dislikes, what they're involved, if it's sports related, if it's, volunteering, they want to be able to walk out their door and not have to travel for 45 minutes to an hour to go volunteer.
Yeah. Also the traffic. Sometimes it doesn't matter how close you are to something, you can't get out, depending on what the traffic's like. And that's also a community-based thing. It's how many roads in and out.
I mean, public transit, that's the other big piece of it too.
Yeah. And again, there's always my favorite thing that's always talked about is the Halifax versus Dartmouth.
Yes.
You're one or the other, people like to say.
Yep.
It's the same as are you moving to Sackville or are you Cole Harbour? Like, there's all these... I don't even think, like, all the time people don't know why they're one side or the other.
Right.
It's a lot of, like, never going to live in Halifax. Well, why not? Do you work in Halifax? Do you have kids going to university?
Yep.
Might be better.
Yep.
Or you have never go to Dartmouth. It's like, well, you might be able to get a house
but it's
that
funny,
you need for cheaper. Like,
it's funny, in the 90s when we first moved here, my parents moved into Dartmouth area, and we always had to go to Halifax. When the Costco opened, when Bears Lake opened, like, that was the big place to go. Everybody went to Halifax for everything.
Yep.
Nowadays, Dartmouth is the go-to. We got Dartmouth Crossing. We got the IKEA. We got our own Costco. We have everything over in Dartmouth.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we have more. I actually spend more time now in Dartmouth. I live in Eastern Passage, but still, I have rarely any reason to go to Halifax because everything that I used to need to go to Halifax for is here.
Yeah.
Minus, the big sporting events, the big concerts and stuff, which are at, was it Scotiabank now? It's not Metro Center anymore.
The Scotiabank Center, or they're on
Show my age a little bit.
What's that called? The grounds, the Garrison Grounds.
Garrison Grounds, which hopefully will expand here soon too.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe the into the Shannon Park area. That'd be great if when that starts getting worked on, it has a nice opening like that. So
yes, yeah.
It'd be nice to see some new venues, but again, that actually ties into what's coming into the communities.
Yes,
it's always good to keep an eye on like the ups and comings.
Yep.
Like the road going from to the Bedford Commons through the Birdside connections. I have people who live in Sackville who are like, oh, that's cut so much time off of their travel.
Yep.
I'm like, that hasn't cut any time from me going to Dartmouth to Bedford because I still get on Dartmouth Road and I still have to turn either onto the Bedford Highway or I have to get onto the 102, and getting in and out of Bedford, it's impossible.
Yep, definitely.
But again, stuff to look at that I don't think people realize. Again, based on your family, your volunteer, your work, you have city people versus country people. Like, I like living close. I'd rather personally be somewhere that's, what we talked about before, I'd rather be on well and septic.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. For me, it's the Eastern Shore is ideal.
Yes.
It's close enough to the city.
Yeah.
It has everything I could want. Like, it has hiking trails. It has, campgrounds that are there, so I don't have to drive for
That's
4
right.
hours. It's got the sports. It's got hockey. It's got
Yep.
the canoe club. My favorite thing is the regattas.
Yeah.
They happen every summer. They take over the entire lake.
Yep.
Like,
Well, it's the same for me. I mean, I grew up in Dartmouth, and growing up in Dartmouth, you always thought Eastern Passage was so far away, but now I live in Eastern Passage, and it
one of
has
the
everything
nicest
I need.
beaches.
It's one of the nicest beaches right there on the at the front of the top of the harbor opening there. We have tons of trails, the old railroad tracks that have turned into walking trails.
The Salt Marsh Trail.
The Salt Marsh Trail. My dog loves going to walk along there. It's just amazing. We're only, an extra 5 minutes back into Dartmouth, and we have everything we need again.
Yeah. Yep.
But our price was a little bit cheaper when we bought compared to if I bought 15 minutes closer into the city.
Yeah, always is. Although then you got universities. Well, university set in. I was looking into Annie Ganesh recently.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm just like, it is so far from everything except for one university. And they have all their dorms and stuff, so you figure that it shouldn't be as much of a student town as it is.
Yeah.
Like, the restaurants are cheaper. Parking, you can park all day for the price of an hour parking here.
Oh, yes.
And then I looked at the prices, and I'm like, I could get a bungalow for the same price as I could get a townhouse in Bedford.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what just happened? The prices for having I love the town.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The town's got if you got kids, it's got the little splash pad, which I've spent all day at that splash pad with my
I can
daughter.
see you
All
there.
day. And it's a 5-minute walk from the restaurant.
Yep.
It's perfect. It's a great place, but it's just so pricey that it's impossible to get into.
It is.
So anyway, I think that all kind of ties in. I do know we have a couple other.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple guests and see what they were saying about their community. We have one person that's kind of newer to the area. He moved here during the pandemic, and then we're going to have Linda back on
our
as
regular,
well.
our good old regular that she's going to be. Pardon me, who's not only our lead source of coaching and information in the real estate world, she's also a huge member of the community, and I'm pretty sure as soon as we got here, she has been, from when we moved here, kind of introduced herself in the community pretty much right away.
Right.
Between joining groups and in Lake Echo groups.
Yep.
She was in the church group in Lake Echo. She coached soccer, my soccer team. She coached other ones, and she just nonstop. So
And she's still going.
she doesn't stop. This woman retired, made herself busier than anybody should ever be in life. But
First guest is going to be Jay Fisher from Capture It Photography.
all right,
Jay moved here in, I think, well, he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he moved here right at the beginning of the pandemic, or just right as we were hitting our main pandemic here.
Okay.
And from Ontario, him and his girlfriend Ashley. Jay's focus is headshots, but he's also done a lot of landscape. He does action, lifestyle. He's done my headshots. He's done lifestyle photos for me and others. He's also started a new book, which is all about the landscapes across Nova Scotia that he's
cool.
visited since he's been here.
We have good
it's
ones.
Absolutely amazing. He's got it printed now, available. So we'll get him to talk a little bit about that as well. And maybe some of the other things he's been doing around the community.
Oh, nice, cool.
Maybe he's ignoring us.
Hello?
Hey, Jay.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
Almost.
Hey, Jay, so you're here. It's Eric, and you got Jim on the line with us, too. We're doing our first podcast of the year and first podcast for us ever.
Yeah. Our first episode. Welcome to our first. Prepare for the mistakes and the fun times.
Yeah, so you probably might have to correct one mistake for me, Jay. I said you moved here roughly at the beginning of the pandemic or right during. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, pretty much October 2020, so pretty close to the beginning.
Right. So I've introduced your Capture It photography, gave a little bit of shout out for you. You've done headshots for me. You've done some lifestyle shooting for me, amongst other people. And I also wanted you to talk a little bit about your book that you've released.
Yeah, absolutely. Where would you like me to start?
Well, what's the name of the book? Because I forget.
The book is Come From Away with a Camera.
Nice. That's it.
because that's pretty much what I am.
Yes, because you've basically thrown yourself head first into our community, haven't you? Just trying to get
Yeah.
out as much as possible, seeing as much as possible. But between yourself and Ashley, you guys have, you're incorporating yourselves as business people in the community too.
I mean, I've always been a big fan of building community wherever I am, and whatever sort of activities or social circles I've been a part of. It's I'm very much a community driven person. Ashley is the same. I think we both grew up in very community oriented kind of environment. So it's a big thing for us.
Yeah. Definitely, I've seen it, and I mean we've been helping each other out, trying to grind our way into these communities to help each other's businesses as well. So it's been great to watch both of you guys grow.
Well, what
Thank you.
community did you park yourself in when you got here?
Like physically or
Yeah. Well, I know you're in the Shandon Park area in a sense.
Up in Dartmouth. It was and that was interesting because we were looking for a rental completely blind, pretty much just like doing all the searches online from 1,800 kilometers away, and after a little persistence managed to get the place where we are now, and it's worked out great. We really love Dartmouth. It's funny when we first moved here, we thought, all right, well, we're right near the bridge. We can pop downtown, every day. It's 10 minutes away. And then we realized very quickly that there's not all that much reason to pop over across the bridge every day.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I was talking about that earlier. Is like as a kid when we moved here in the '90s, everything we had to go to Halifax for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like with Dartmouth Crossing and everything. I rarely ever go to Halifax. It's unless I'm going for the Wanderers or eventually Tides, or here for our podcast. But it's rarely I ever go to Halifax anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we go more often now that Ashley has her business downtown. She's got Happily Hitched, which is a wedding chapel right down at Pizza Corner, which a lot of people get a kick out of.
Yeah, they used the same person I did for the logo, didn't you?
Ash, yeah. Not Ash.
Yeah, they used
Amanda.
Yeah,
Amanda.
to do your logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Another tie-in. That's,
another tie-in.
That's community right there.
Absolutely. So we go down for that, and then before she had the business, though, the joke was that anytime I went across the bridge, it was because I was going to Henry's.
Yes, Henry's. Yeah. So, you have any other questions? I mean,
where did you come from? Where did you roll in from?
Ontario. I mentioned that earlier.
But no, just where? Like, where? Ontario is a huge place. Like Kingston,
it's
Toronto.
a little bit bigger than Nova Scotia,
I guess. Pretty much right downtown Toronto.
All right. So yeah, GTA. So what was that like? The difference of what you had there, kind of thing, to popping into Dartmouth. Like,
I mean, from my place in Dartmouth, I can get in the car and in 15, 20 minutes I've got lakes, I've got forests, I've got coastline, I've got all sorts of really amazing scenery. And from where I live in Toronto, I get in my car and in 15, 20 minutes I'm most of the way down the block.
Yeah, solid. Where GTA, you're what, like on the next highway from your house, ready to go the next, or heading east to west.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Toronto is sometimes 2 hours from Toronto.
Yeah, that's valid. Straight. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, it's it's a different vibe here. I think people are a lot more willing to sit down, have a coffee, talk, just get to know one another. I feel like my interactions with people here are less transactional.
Yeah,
very much.
Yeah. So other than that, I was also just thinking of as far. Hi, I'm Jim, by the way. Never met you before. How goes it? The shenanigans, they're real. I tell you, they're real. The community aspect, like Eric said, you guys are like kind of bashing heads together, like putting yourselves into community to put yourselves out there. What kind of things do you find yourself delving into and around here? Obviously, doing the photos and like doing your book. But how have you been going about it?
I mean, one of the first things that I did after moving here and starting to get settled was I joined the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. I joined the Greater Burnside Business Association. I joined the BNI chapter, and I just started going out to, well, at the time it was online, so I started, logging into any kind of networking event or meeting that I could find, really just to get out there and see who was around and get my face out there. And then once things opened up, same thing. I go to a ton of events. I go to a lot of the events that the chamber puts on. Still active with BNI, with the Greater Burnside Association, and I mean, just kind of wherever I can be, and then got involved with with the community here where I live, and try and be a little bit of a support for the community. I do a yearly a photo booth at Halloween for all the kids in their costumes.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen some of those photos. They're
Well,
absolutely
yeah, I'm
brilliant.
just here. I'm sorry, looking at some of the photos that you've done. Eric just kind of spun them on me here, and
I'm just throwing your website in front of them.
yeah, there's some they're pretty good photos. I'm liking what I see, and again, it's a bit of everything. I see. He's another realtor, isn't he, or is he mortgage? Anyway, you've got some business photos in here, like
Spicer's is mortgage.
Yeah, mortgage. Yeah, I've seen the mortgage guy before. Like, I've seen him. I just didn't know what he did. But, like, everything from, like, you got business photos. You've got, Eric sitting around. You got what looks like blood work going on. I don't know what that is. Massage or acupuncture. Anyway.
Acupuncture, maybe.
You've got a lot going on. Like, you're putting yourself in front of a lot of people.
I mean, I try. Capture photography is really kind of developed into very much a business photography brand. I work not exclusively, but I tend to work primarily with businesses, with either with entrepreneurs or with larger teams. Getting headshots for people. I do kind of lifestyle branding photos with a number of my clients, and also cover a bunch of corporate events over the last few years.
Cool. I like that. I like the Halloween thing you mentioned.
Yeah.
Last year I did my very first thing in my neighborhood where I decided I was not just handing out candy. So I set up a barbecue.
Nice.
So
That's a good idea, actually.
I was doing hot dogs and hot chocolate outside for Halloween for the kids, as well as the parents, because most people come home and they're right out. They don't have a chance to eat.
Right.
Like they're trying to get that candy before it gets too busy or too late. And so I was doing that, and I was really throwing myself in there, like integrating with the community in that aspect, because all of a sudden I went from just saying trick or treat, here you go, see you later, to the parents actually stayed around and chatted while their kids hit the 6 or 7 houses. So,
and I mean, and this is like, it's a ton of fun. I set up like a fun background, and like some of the kids really love it. The parents obviously love the fact that they can get a photo of their kids in costume. So it's become the only year that I didn't do it was the one year where it just poured buckets.
Yeah, I might have
that was a
to
couple
get
years ago,
you in my driveway at some point to get that going there. Jeez, that would be a good time.
Should bring them to that client appreciation.
Well, that's it. That's the other thing I want to try to push is a really nice client appreciation. But I'm noticing it's my daughter, of all people, brought it up to me yesterday. My godmother was having this really big gathering of family and friends. So that's why I was out until 6 o'clock last night, in bed by 7:30. But it was it's like we did this really big. My daughter's like, we should do this really big picnic or gathering, and then it got me thinking about like those old movies, like from, I guess, old because we're old, but like where you ended up having like the work ones where people come and like do the like just horseshoes or like the potato sack races, and there's a photographer there and there's like a barbecue, and I'm like, I really want to get something like that done. I feel like
The old
it's
raw
cheap to
egg
do.
toss.
Yeah, and then all you're really doing is paying like a photographer to be there and capture all the moments for people, but you're getting everybody happy to see each other in games.
Oh yeah, and
like
those
that
are.
stuff,
In
man.
fact,
It's cheesy.
I've done a couple of those with a couple different organizations where they've had me sort of come with them on their like their annual like retreat or get together, and I'm like getting photos of people doing archery and throwing axes and
Yuck. Well, I should get my girls' soccer team out because I was mentioning to one girl, trying to teach them how to receive a pass and loosen their foot up. And I asked them, have you ever played the raw egg toss game? And she looked at me like I had 50 heads.
Yeah, nobody.
I was like,
yeah,
you're
90s movies.
16, 17 years old and you've never tossed a raw egg before? And she's like, no.
Not unless it was at a house.
And so I was like going on. I was like, well, okay, have you used water, like done a water balloon toss? And she's like, yeah. Okay, so when you catch a water balloon, do you keep your hand stiff or do you let your hand loosen? She's like, I loosen it. I was like, do that with your foot when you receive a pass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the way to bring it down. Yeah, but that's.
But now I'm gonna get her to come. We're gonna do this event with Jay, and we're gonna get them to come toss eggs.
That sounds great. That sounds great. No, awesome. I have one last question just to tie this into, I guess, what we do. Because we are real estate agents. It is important that we point that out. Both at Century 21 Trident, we're killing it.
The real estate team.
Realtors, your opinion: should they be trying to get themselves like into the community? Should we be integrating into the community, or should we stick to houses where we belong?
What I've found in Nova Scotia more than anywhere I've ever been is people want to work with who they know.
Yes.
You can put all your stats and awards and your results and all that on your website and it looks great, but somebody is going to work with somebody that they trust. I see that in not just in real estate, but in a lot of different circles, a lot of different kind of avenues where somebody is going to gravitate to the person that they feel the most comfortable with. When somebody's buying a house, this is probably the biggest, single financial decision of most people's lives is buying a house. And knowing that you're working with someone who, is embraced by that community, who you feel just really knows the area, knows the people. You get a sense of more than just the house. You get a sense of the place that you're going to call home.
Right.
No, I appreciate that comment. And yeah, like that's it. That's what I had for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Eric, what do you got? Any more shenanigans for this?
I think Jay's probably fed up with us
Probably.
already.
I can't blame him.
No,
He's like, stop going on rants, you dude.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Jay, because I know this was like I literally messaged you yesterday because I was like, I had someone else and then they backed out, unfortunately. But I'm gonna keep pushing them. And
I think we should do a few different ones where again we're gonna bring in community, but in everything we'll have a couple that are like serious real estate, answering questions, stuff like that. Which while you're here, any real estate questions that have been pondering your brain these days?
Yeah, Jay. The thing is, like, Jay's listened to me off and on for years now, and I know
he knows everything. He's a realtor now.
All
right, cool.
Yeah. But no, Jay. Like, you have anything that from us, like you'd want to know, or you think you should know, especially from you. I mean, you've been here since almost 5 years. Well, shy of 5 years, 4 years for sure.
Yeah, it'll be 5 years in October.
Right.
I've seen the market go from affordable to stupid to leveling off, all in that time. And, I wonder how many people are just like having looked at where the markets have gone the last 4 years in Nova Scotia are just constantly sitting there scratching their head, going like, do I go now? Do I wait 6 months? Do I wait a year? Interest and mortgage, it's been kind of a volatile situation in Nova Scotia. So,
Very much.
I mean, what do you say to the sort of general confused public?
For me, it's when you are ready. There's no right time. And we hear that, I mean, even before when I was selling previously to pandemic, I mean, I was selling during a recession. It's people buy when they're ready. People list their homes when they're ready. People get divorced every day. People die every day. We don't know when the market's going to pick up. We don't know when interest rates are going to drop or rise, but it's when you are comfortable and when you are ready or you feel the need is how I look at it.
Yep. Yeah, and it's for me. I actually had this conversation with one of my godmother's sons. Like I call them my god brothers. I call them my cousins, whatever it is. I've known them since we were all born. Anyway, he was sitting there, and him and his partner have been having that discussion of, we're renting right now. Do we wait to buy, or when's the right time to buy? And I look at him like, do you have the money to buy now? It's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why do you want to buy? He's like, because I'm tired of paying somebody else's mortgage. He's like, this. If I would have bought in 2020, I would have got a house for less. That would be worth more. And it's just like, I'm like, yep, that's correct. Like, but it's not. That's not changing anytime soon. You're not. No. We're not hitting a break in the market where you're going to lose $100,000 if you buy reasonably. Like if you don't go in and say, I'm going to offer 300 over asking, or even 100, or just. You buy
basically what we saw in 2021.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you buy wisely, any time is the right time as long as the market's still going up.
Right.
So it's when you have the money, when you have the proper motivation, that's the right time to move. Because right now it's all about getting for the right price, and is it going to make you? Is it going to make you money down the road? Is it going to sell for more than you bought it for?
And that's the thing you got to look at. It's an investment. It's a long-term investment right now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I used to tell people, climb the property ladder, buy low, buy something, on the cheaper end now, but in 3 to 5 years, you're going to be able to sell that, make a little profit on it, and then go buy the next property up. Nowadays, the last few years, I've been telling my clients, well, this is more of a 10-year project now.
Yeah.
Mortgage plus improvements is still the best way to go in my mind.
Definitely.
Get a place that needs the work if you have the time to wait before you move into it.
Yeah.
Get a place that's going to be well under market value if you were to have all the work done. So if you only have to put in $70,000 worth of work to end up with $130,000 in profit, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
If you're able to.
Yeah.
No, I think that is all very sound. It's been interesting for me. I mean, I've been fortunate enough now to be able to go around the province, both for work and then eventually just kind of intentionally exploring. But capturing kind of the differences in every little corner of Nova Scotia. It's such a vast and varied province for a province of this size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're getting the wrap it up, so plug your book once more, and we'll let you go.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, guys. The book is Come From Away with a Camera. It's 176 photos of my first 4 years in Nova Scotia, and all of the photos in the book are available as wall art. I've got a website, comefromawayWithACamera.ca.
Well, thank you very much, Jay, and hope the rest of your day goes well. I know you got a photo shoot coming up, and we'll keep in touch, and hopefully have you back on.
Yeah, great chat.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Jay.
Take care.
Hey, bye.
Yeah, so that was a great little chat. We got another community member here who's talking on behalf of the Dartmouth East Rotary, which is a pretty fancy club that's around for helping out. We talked to her in our quick little touch base on our intro.
We surprised her on that one.
We did,
She's,
yeah.
I think, hopefully knows this call.
She knows this one's coming. She knows this one's coming. So, yeah, Linda Smartin, she is the president of the Dartmouth East Rotary Club, as well as a lot of real estate background and a lot of real estate titles. Definitely sunk herself in the community, and I have the great pleasure of calling her my mother, people tell me. So, yeah, let's give her a ring and a hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
It's myself and Eric calling you
Hi, Linda.
once again.
Hi, Eric.
We figured it's been so long in our own lives since we've talked to you that we'll talk to you. We'll give it a call today, episode 1.
I know. I saw her twice last week.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
In person.
Celebrity. So, yeah, we're running our first episode here, so prepare for a lot of mistakes, errors, and just rambling on.
And
But we'll
laughter.
try to...
Lots of laughter.
Yeah, we'll try
Okay.
to keep the shenanigans as on track as possible for you. But today is I'm not really calling you on behalf of real estate, even though Linda Smartin is well known in the real estate world here. We're talking community, and you have another title as far as community involvement goes. So why don't you give a little rundown of who you are and what you do in that aspect?
Do you know what he's even talking about, Linda?
Yeah, I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Dartmouth East. That would be hopefully that, or else I'm in a world of hurt. I'll have to say grandmother of a very precocious little girl, but other than that, it'd be I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Dartmouth East.
Awesome. And Rotary Club. What is a Rotary Club? Just so I know.
Yeah, just so you know, I guess the best thing is it's a service club. A Rotary Club it started out as business networking, and that turned into a service club. So 1,000,000 years ago, there was a lawyer in Chicago, and Paul Harris, and came from a small town and decided that, wouldn't it be cool to know different business people? And he started the club, and then they decided to put their knowledge and their energy to good use. And they were actually responsible for putting the first public toilets in their community. And since then, it's grown worldwide. There are millions of returns worldwide, and there are projects from, there's all kinds of projects worldwide. Our club works mostly within our specific communities rather than the worldwide community, but there are clubs that work both in their local and their world community. So how's that for a short and...
It's interesting.
It's definitely a sweet. It's definitely a sweet. Medium and sweet, I'll take it. Talking about the communities here, what does the Rotary do in the communities, like in our community right now?
So
your Rotary Club, but let's not play
our Rotary Club? Yeah. So our Rotary Club, I think we focus most of our energy on education and homelessness, basically. So one of the things we do on a monthly basis is we buy food and prepare it at home, cook it, and then take it into Metro Turning Point, which is a men's shelter in Halifax. And we serve them a home-cooked meal. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but, when you're living on the streets or you're homeless or living in a shelter, having that meal that comes from,
warm and from the heart.
From the heart, that's right. And that's, and there's generally potato, well, it depends if it's winter or summer, but in winter we cheat, we pick up chicken because there are some people that cannot eat pork, but other than that, we do, we prepare roast pork and gravy and potatoes and vegetables, and we bring dessert, which sometimes homemade, sometimes we cheat on that too. But and we serve it, and we just connect with the residents. I think community is about connection, right? So we connect with
100%. Yeah. Education, you mentioned.
Education. One of the things, and we do monthly again, and we've done a couple things education-wise, but one thing we do monthly locally is go to some of the schools in Dartmouth that are in less than affluent areas, and we buy each month $200 worth of books, and we buy it, and we actually support a small local business doing it, so that's kind of cool. Remember the whole business thing? We support an independent small local business, and we buy $200 worth of books. So, and we go to an elementary school, and we make sure we have a book for each classroom in the elementary school, and we get a group of volunteers from our clubs, friends of our club. There's another club, Dartmouth, that the president and his wife also have started reading with us. And
Nice.
we read for about 20 minutes. So for the little kids, it's a whole book. For the older kids, it's maybe a chapter. But then we leave the books behind, and the books become part of the school. So we help increase the books in the school and providing new books. So, and then another thing we do is we sponsor outgoing and incoming exchange students at the high school level.
Oh, I didn't know.
So
Yeah,
we
that's
do
really cool.
that. Yeah, that's really cool. And we've had last year we had somebody from Italy, and we've had and the outgoing exchange student, or I mean the year before last, I guess I've lost track of what year. The outgoing exchange student went to Taiwan. The year before that, the outgoing student went to Norway. And again, the incoming student was from Italy. We've had an incoming student from Venezuela since I've been there. And then when he was due to go back, and this is how we collaborate with other Rotary clubs. This just gets me really excited. When he was due to go back, it was COVID. It was impossible to go back to Venezuela. So between our district with grants and Rotary clubs through Atlantic Canada, we managed to fundraise and help sponsor his university education.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, he was expected to work and to also, provide income from his work, and he was expected to keep his grades up, and he finished with a degree in actuarial science.
Smart guy. Really
yeah,
nice,
smart
but
guy.
really smart guy.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then we also support Metro Care Insure, which was started by, oh my heavens, I'm gonna lose my mind here, Parker Street, Mel Boutlier, and it helps fund and I think they're going to change, but it helps support Nova Scotians who would not necessarily go to university. So in the past,
Oh, okay.
again, they would take a student loan, and then Metro Care Insure would pay off the student loan. They were expected to stay in school, and I think all graduated by one. I think they're going to change a little bit to bursaries. We'll have to wait and see, but we're not part of it, but we are continuing. We're continuing to be involved in that process, and then we have just started with HIP, which is another group, and it's understanding with the Indigenous and non-Indigenous youth, and just getting together. So we're starting to work on that, and actually one of our members is on the selection group for Nova Scotia for that. So yeah,
Nice.
so and that education is not school education. That education is understanding the community we live in, understanding each other.
Right.
So it's not about fixing problems. It's about respect and learning about each other. So
and
so
then
it's
being
all
able to
kinds
work
of different
together,
things.
obviously, on top of that. Right?
Yeah, it's-
Exactly.
Community is also more
Yeah.
about than where you live. It's the people who make it up.
That's right.
Now, clearly, all this takes money. So part of what we do, obviously, is fundraising because we have to fundraise in order to be able to do this. Our club is not a charity. It is a service club, but it is not a charity. It's not for profit. But we do support other charitable organizations. So
Right.
we do. Because we're a small club, we do an awful lot of, roll up your sleeves. As you can tell, that was all kinds of roll up your sleeves kind
Yeah,
of thing.
very much.
And we've done highway cleanup, and so, to help keep our community a little prettier. And we're looking at other ways to leverage with other clubs. And of course, all in all, the other thing Rotary is still about networking in a positive way, about our relationships with each other, and just enjoying people, that want to give back and enjoying each other's company, and that's part of it too. And I think that has to be part of life.
That's huge too.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that for a big long spiel?
That wasn't
like
long.
it.
You
I
could have
like it.
gone longer.
Of course you can, but that's not needed. You made it very clear. It's great. No, that's really good answers. As far as that goes, like, again, great community organization. Great with that. We still are realtors. As far as it goes, again, Century 21 Trident, Eric and Joe.
The real estate team.
Or the real estate team. As far as that goes, what's your take on realtors involved in the community? Something that should be done, something that people should see more of or are seeing a lot of? Is it,
Or even in your experience
Yeah.
as a past broker, did you see many of your agents in your offices doing like what we do, like the amount of volunteering that Jim and I do in our communities?
you'd be surprised. I mean, there are some that don't, but you'd be surprised. Almost every brokerage
Has something.
has something. But on top of that, like I worked in one brokerage where two people within that brokerage were presented with a medal from the province for their volunteering.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, both.
David was one of them, was he not?
David Bathurst, Nick Yeoman, exactly, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So both very involved, very community minded. Because you've got to remember, of the 2,000 realtors, I mean, it's a multitude of type of people, just like any community or any society is a multitude of different types of people. So you have people that are not so focused outwards, but you can't put 2,000 people together and not have a group of people that are focused beyond themselves. And everybody does have their favorite, and everybody has what's important to them. I think one of the things I loved about Rotary is because we're action based, but I also love the fact that we weren't single focus. We could expand. We could make decisions without being just on one specific charity. We could take a look and that's, we need everybody. We need people working for cancer. We need people working for diabetes. Every cause needs somebody. But I just, and it's funny because I'm reading this Rotary thing, and Jim, you're familiar with this in your training. It says it's a global network of this is something that's interesting, a global network of more than 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. So it's what it is. It's just people. And I think part of making the world a better place is if we see the individuals and the people rather than, I don't like to look at people as a society that's so, that society or this society. But when you break it down and start looking at the humans, I think it makes such a world of difference. Yeah. And I think we're doing what we can to make, our little place better, and that's all we can do. None of, and I think what's beautiful about what we do, what realtors do, and I think realtors, play a part in that. They see their communities, they have children in their communities or members of their communities, and hopefully they see a way that it's giving back in one way to the income they earn because their communities help them earn income. That's certainly part of it. But part of it is you have to be part of the fabric, and you have to be part of the fabric of what's around you, because when the fabric breaks down, then everybody loses. There's nobody that wins when the fabric of a community breaks down. So you have to take care of the most vulnerable, because if you don't take care of the most vulnerable, then it starts unraveling, and it doesn't look like a little bit, a lot when you pull that one piece of thread of the fabric, but eventually that one thread can do a lot of harm to whatever garment, So I think it's really important. That's my really, kind of.
Gonna pull a string on your real estate side here, though. Take you away from your president cap for a second. Your past real estate. Like, as far as communities go, like, how does a community affect price in your mind, or does community affect the price of a home in your mind?
Well, I mean, value, prices of homes is dependent on location, right? And on desire. So if you've got, and it comes back to a fabric. So if you've got an area that, let's say, was a mill town and the mill closes, but 70% of the jobs were at that mill, absolutely, the loss of that employment certainly affects prices. If you are and business is part of community. Community is just not human. Business is part of community. Or if you're in an area that has lots for people that are, I guess Halifax is a good example. They're getting smarter. They build schools, but also build social things, because there are going to be people. If you want people only families there, then you're gonna build all family things. But if you want a real mixture, real diversity, then I think the community has to serve many needs. And if you have an area where there aren't facilities for families, facilities for children, or facilities for singles that, might want to go to the theater or play some sports or whatever,
Yep.
it's going to affect price. And that's why in some rural areas, prices are a little bit lower. Now, there are always going to be people that want to be away from everything, are quite happy with that.
Yeah.
But the more demand there is for a product, the higher the price goes. That's just common sense. So the areas that offer plenty of amenities, even in rural areas, there are areas that offer amenities. I look at Musquodoboit Harbor that's got a library and a rink.
Hammonds Plains, what they're doing right now is the one that really stands out to me is the Hammonds Plains Road, all the new development out by Kingswood and all that.
Yeah.
They've got the new play place for the kids, and their whole thing is about community. Like one of the owners is a former real estate broker. Who realized it was missing. He knew how to bring up their value by playing to something other than residential.
Yeah.
So
homes are one thing, but you need more of the house to live in there. It's got to be a place that you connect to. It's connection.
No, I like that. And Eric, you got anything for Linda here?
Stop throwing soccer balls at me.
Keep throwing soccer balls at him.
Oh, come on.
All right. Well,
No, I thought that
you're
was
lucky
great.
I don't have a wicked kick, so you're pretty safe. You won't get any bruises.
no, we appreciate the time, and I tried to keep you a little more informed this time, so I wasn't dropping a bunch of just dropping you from the
Dropping her in the
what I'm
frying
trying to
pan.
say.
I did try
There
and
you
think of your questions and
frying pan.
Drop her into a
and think
frying
how they
pan.
spoke to me. Yeah, I tried
So-
to think of your questions on how they spoke to me. Exactly.
So we appreciate your time, and
No problem.
gives everybody something to think on. And again, if anybody ever sees somebody from any Rotary Club and like they're trying to make some money and they're asking for a donation,
Hit Rotary up.
yeah, they donate. They're doing good things.
Thank you very much.
Even if it's just your time.
I'll give a shout out to two of my favorite realtors, two of my three favorite realtors.
Neither of them's us, Eric.
No,
Don't worry about it.
it's Yolanda. It's all Yolanda.
It's all good old Yolanda.
Okay, there's a third one. You figured it out.
All right. Well, thanks for your time and again for your insights. We appreciate it.
We'll harass you
right.
again another time.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
All right. Peace
All right,
out.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry about that. I was trying to keep your faith of humanity down at a reasonable, and now you're hoping again. And
You do see who you're dealing with, right?
you should.
I'm going to.
I'm in
I'm
it.
meeting
They're
someone this
looking for
week.
more. They're looking for more youth in it.
Yeah.
They did something recently, and I keep telling them stop, look at age, and look at the people who are actual serious about doing it. Yes, youth. Like younger people need to know about it because they hear Rotary, they think like the Masons, stuff like that, like all these different.
When I first hear
groups without
Rotary,
knowing
I
who they
think.
are.
I mean, gray hair. Yes, I have gray hair, but
He
I don't
does.
think I have
Lots.
white. I think of the 70+
Yeah,
community.
but
right?
they're always looking for new members. I'm like one of the youngest ones in mine. Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah, well, they are everywhere. They have one in Sackville. They have I go from Bedford to the Dartmouth one, the Dartmouth East, not just because of my family, because there are so few people in it that they need more. So Dartmouth East would be your honestly.
You can join.
I'll
I'm
send you
joining the other
info.
Dartmouth one. You can join with me.
Yeah.
I've never been yet.
Hey, it's larger.
I'm meeting a lady on Thursday for coffee to learn more.
Yeah, they're trying not to have to combine because being able to be separate helps them to do it. But ours is so few people that instead of having different division, like a social media aspect of this or that, the other thing, and that's the other thing. I'm the social media person, and I don't even have access to it. So they just give it to one person. Like they even have to switch the president amongst the small group because I think there's only 8 people who show up. So they do need more people.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's like you could join, and anybody you could bring would happily
and
be welcomed.
It's good networking. I mean, especially for podcast starter, like you guys could potentially meet new businesses that might want to start podcasting. Right? It's a networking plus community giving.
Also, I think they should be doing this.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, like, because I go to the meetings and they're always like, "How can we get what we're doing out there?" And I'm just like,
we'll do
yeah,
something.
their social media isn't enough because it's barely done. They mostly older like people. They're not taking the pictures. They're not recording. Like I did an entire drone video and recorded it. I have other things that I'm doing, but it's coming from me, and I'm like, okay, well. I'm, like I said, the youngest member. It's like there's other people. I don't reach the younger crowd the way they need to. Like with me, like bringing up the whole Hammond's Play. And it's like, you must have seen the new play, the play place that went right in the Kingswood area. It quickly became one of the most popular places. There's a bunch that have been built, but because this place is so different and it's so focused on community, they built it so that the parents could actually talk while watching their kids, where a lot of the other ones are built so the kids can play.
Right.
And I've made so many connections. I've been there 3 times, and I've made so many connections, including with the owners. That's just from, it's not from me going out of the way saying, hi, I'm in real estate. It's literally like, oh, there's your kid. Let's just chat. It's so just like, it's an organic like conversation.
Yeah.
So, but that's what Kingswood, I feel like, is becoming. It started off as a, because again, it was built for people with horses, essentially. There was that stable that was going in. Never really happened that it grew that way, but everybody now seems to be more of a community-driven area. Like the businesses are in there now, and they're getting that nice strip of stores in there. Like it's just become a self-sustaining area.
Well, and then that's what HRM wants, though. They want those
more communities,
drivable communities, and I mean, I forget his name now. He goes on about it all the time about bikes, lanes, and accessibility and stuff like that too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, a big thanks to our 2 guests today, Jay Fisher of Captured Photography and Linda Smarden of Rotary, president of Rotary currently.
President of the Dartmouth
Dartmouth East Rotary.
There's a bunch of them.
Clear.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, it was great to hear from both of them. You know, Jay talking about how he moved here basically during that pandemic and getting involved with the community and growing his business, and his girlfriend partner Ashley actually starting her business as well, which is the wedding chapel right here in Halifax, and then Linda.
Yeah, going over that. Again, what was nice with that was the aspect of the fabric of community, rather than just the people. It's the people, it's the businesses, and as far as the price of if you're sitting there wondering, you know, what's my home worth, what's the value of my home, you can look around your community and see what does your community as a whole offer to the people moving into it, and that's going to affect your price.
Exactly. That's what's going to draw people into your community too. So if you're limited on amenities, then reach out to your local council, and start pushing for some of these amenities to help.
I know East Preston keeps pushing for that water to come up further, and that's it. That'll be a complete change for that community.
Hammond Plain too, like that.
Yeah, they're always looking for it to get. The further the water goes, the more you're going to get people out there, because it's going to be easier for it to develop in the way people want it to develop.
Add value to all the property lines Yeah, no, it was great. I loved hearing Jay and how he's being able to get in the community, and what he's seeing the benefit of being in a smaller Nova Scotia versus GTA, and you know, how that he's benefited from that, and he's created his book because of that, because he's not driving 2 hours to get into.
No, 2 hours gets him some good photos.
Yeah, 2 hours now gets some tons of photography, so it's great.
Yeah. So in case you guys were all wondering, that's Eric. I am going down.
Down.
I'm Jim Smarden, Eric Holman. This is the community game plan, and
that's shenanigans with us.
Yeah, shenanigans with Jim and Eric.
We'll try and do this more often, and definitely going to be having some more guests and some more features and business features. I mean, that's the big thing for us is showcasing our local community and our businesses in those communities.
Yeah, if you want to talk with us, whether it's about this or it's about real estate, feel free to get a hold of either of us, and we'd love to come up with any topics you might have or questions to touch base with them.
Reach out to either one of us on our socials. You can find myself on Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't do any of that TikTok stuff anymore. So yourself, where can you find you?
Yeah, I'm around. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, out on the streets, just working it.
I joined Blue Sky. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't even know what it is.
It's the alternative to Twitter. Everybody's leaving Twitter or X, I guess. So I don't know. I'm just learning.
Cool. So that's our shenanigans. This has been the Community Game Plan, and I hope you have a great week.